Hi, today we're going to be discussing who is in charge at a symphony concert, the conductor or the guest artist. And we're talking to Saginaw Bay Symphony Orchestra conductor Fouad Fakhouri, who probably has a slanted view of the thing, but we'll see. And the next concert doubles the question because the guest artist composed the piece they will play. But in general, what happens when you book a guest artist? Because I know conductors have their own way of conducting any piece they choose, but what kind of say does the guest artist have?
So, I mean, that's a great question because you have to be at that point when you have a guest artist, you have to sort of have a give and take between
Yeah,
the guest and the conductor, especially about how that piece, in the larger sense of the piece, how it progresses, right? So,
right,
the way I like to work with guest artists. I mean, again, this is generalization. Some
right,
guest artists will come in and they are very accommodating. Some guest artists are really, they have a very rigid idea of how they want to perform a piece. They
right.
want to do it their way. So I try to, though, understand their uh, vision for the piece because they are going to be featured on it, and then I try to accommodate their input and their desires for the piece and how they would like it to unfold in during the concert and in real time. Sometimes the process is simple, sometimes it can get complicated, but in general, I try to be very accommodating and really try to work with guest artists as much as I can to make it an enjoyable experience and a really rewarding artistic experience for both the orchestra, the audience, as well as the guest artist.
So when do you have this discussion? When they show up for rehearsals or ahead of time?
Yeah, so typically we have the discussion ahead of time.
Okay,
And the more, the earlier we can have that discussion, the better it is for the process because I can then adjust. I always liken it to making a garment, whether you're making a suit or a dress or whatever. It's if you're a tailor, the first fitting almost is just to sort of make sure that everything is workable, that
right.
it fits the shape of the body of the person, and then you can adjust it from there. So the first meeting is always sort of, you tell me what you think, I'll tell you what I think, and then I go back to my study and I try to rework that conversation into a whole meaning, a whole piece that works. The biggest problem that I have sometimes in pieces with guests is whenever they want to do something, for instance, that they might have heard on a certain recording in this one instant of the piece, but it doesn't fit within the whole context of the work. So that's when we have a little bit of a disagreement or a different points of views, and we almost always work it out.
So, do you study a guest artist ahead of time? Because everybody records these days, videos. Do you study a guest ahead of time or learn about them? What's the process for you before you ever have that conversation?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I try to get a little bit of information about them. Typically, when the guests that we engage, we've sort of we know more and about them, and we've seen them perform on YouTube or wherever or live in concerts. So yeah, I try to know, but you know what you cannot know, Janet, there are certain guests that I've worked with now for a while that I keep going back to because it's like a relationship, marriage. There are certain people that you just naturally get along with
Right.
artistically. I don't have to talk to them. I don't even have to there
Yeah.
are a couple of those that we just, we get together. It's almost like acting. I know what they're going to do. They know what I'm going to do,
Right.
and it works really, really well. Some it doesn't, and it requires a little bit more early sort of prep work before we get to that point. But yeah, I do always, and if I can find a recording of the same piece that we will be performing, I always listen to it and sort of take notes about it from it.
So the one we're talking about is on the March 28th. And I may not pronounce his name right. Kibra Sayon Charles.
Yes,
Have you
yes.
ever conducted this person before?
No, I've never worked with Kebra. It's the first time, but I'm really looking forward to working with Kebra. There is a recording of that particular piece
Oh,
on YouTube that I've been referencing, and it's a piece that Kebra wrote,
Right.
composed it, and then was performed, I believe, with the American Composers Orchestra recently.
Yeah, he's connected to Carnegie Hall. Juilliard, is he kind of an up and coming composer here?
Yes, it seems to be. I've never worked with him before again, but he's younger. I think he's in his late 20s, I believe,
Oh,
and really just sort of making a name, especially on the bass because that's his instrument. So he's not
right.
only going to compose the piece, but he will be there as well to premiere it. I mean, not to premiere it, but to perform it. He's premiered it already.
So does that change the dialogue you have because he composed it? You have to listen to not only the player, but the composer.
Yes, and that it's for me it's a little bit simpler because I also compose music, so
Right.
I that process is much simpler. It's in many ways less complicated because you don't have to then worry about the intentions of the composer, and then how do you bridge the intentions of the composer with the intentions of the soloist. They're both the
They're both
same.
the same
Yeah,
person.
so I don't have to worry about that. The only bad part is if the performer who is also the composer says this is how it should be, then I have to do it. I don't have a leeway to say let's
Yes,
let's
right.
talk to the composer.
So what's his concerto like, though? We'll hear.
It's a great piece of music. It's 20 minutes and it's called Nightlife, and it's
Right.
just it's a piece that takes you through different styles of music. It starts out with a sense of a baroque piece, and then it goes into the title, the nightlife, parties and dancing, and then there's the orchestra gets involved as well at some points in time where they start cheering, and it's almost as if they're in a party, and they
Oh,
start snapping their fingers. It's a great interactive piece of music.
and he's also a Sphinx, if I'm pronouncing that Sphinx con,
Yes,
and
Sphinx.
that's
He
frightening.
is.
That's
Yeah,
right. Right. So
yeah.
that is that a pretty big honor?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's he's a great, again, he's an up and comer, and yeah, Sphinx, I think they have roots also or connections certainly to the Detroit area as well.
Right.
They've performed there or worked there as well. So, yeah, really really just one of those things that I can't wait to have that experience and really present it to our audience.
So there's another composer you're going to have to deal with at that concert.
Yes, there is.
Want to tell us about that person and how different
Yeah.
it might be?
So yeah, I'm also performing one of my pieces that I premiered about 2 years ago. It was commissioned by the my other orchestra, the Wichita Falls Symphony Orchestra, to celebrate their 75th anniversary. It's called trance, and trance is a type of music that I grew up with in the 90s, and I mean it's still very popular. But back when I was growing up in college, um, it was a big thing, and it's basically electronic dance music, this type of music
Oh,
that you would hear at clubs, the music you would dance to. So this piece encapsulates that type of environment, that type of feeling that you would have heard or you still hear at dance clubs.
so that sounds like an interesting companion piece to his, right?
It is, yeah. I mean the program in general I'm really happy about because it's book ended by two pieces that were well, the first piece is composed by Maurice Ravel, Alborada del Gracioso, and then the last piece is Mussorgsky's Pictures at an Exhibition, but it was also orchestrated by Ravel. So we have two
Ah,
Ravels almost in the beginning and the end, and then my piece and Kebra's piece in the middle.
yep. And this is the let me get it right. Saturday, March 28th at 7:30 p.m. at the Temple Theater. Correct.
Correct, yes. Mhm.
Anything else you want to say about the evening?
I would say, you know, designing seasons is really interesting because you're trying to, especially in an orchestra our size, you have five, maybe six concerts in a year, and you try to hit different varieties of performances for the audiences so that they are engaged. And this season, I think we've hit the right balance. This is the concert that appeals, I think, to people who love new music, who love
Mm-hmm.
to see music that is on the cutting edge, as well as to hear pictures and exhibition is one of the pieces in the repertoire. Yeah, right. So if you like that type of large sound, beautiful music from Mussorgsky and Ravel, as well as newer pieces that really relate to what is happening today, then this is the concert to attend. And in those, we don't give a lot of those, so I would encourage people to come and attend this one.
So is your piece and Keeber's piece full orchestra?
Yes, my
Oh,
piece is his piece is full orchestra, but it's a smaller orchestra. It's not a
oh,
chamber orchestra, but it's a smaller. He doesn't use a large complement of brass or percussion. Um, my piece is for a very large orchestra. I think I have 6 percussionists in it, and yeah, so it
okay.
requires and then a harpsichord, sorry, a cellist and a piano, and yeah, so it has a lot of people in it.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
that's it. So unless there's anything else you want to add, so sounds like fun. Okay,
Yeah, it is. It's going to be great. It's just great. I'll just add, it's always wonderful talking to you.
okay.